ahead and get started, and as others jump on, they can just get on. Welcome to our afternoon webinar with the Missouri Department of Economic Development. We appreciate our project managers, Jonathan Mack and Michelle Hadaway, for putting on this webinar for us to explain the Missouri DED grant that they have in place, and they announced last week by Director Rob Dixon. So I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I'm going to pass this over to Michelle and Jonathan and let them get started with this presentation.
Would you guys like me to go ahead and start sharing the screen?
Yes.
Sure.
That's perfect. Go ahead and share. Thank you.
Okay, bear with me. I've only done this a handful of times, so. Okay, can you guys see it?
Perfect.
Great.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michelle Hadaway, and I'm the Deputy Division Director for the Regional Engagement Team for the Missouri Department of Economic Development. And I'm with my colleague, Jonathan Mack, who's a project manager for the central area. And we are so excited to present something we've been working really, really hard on, and honestly stole a little bit from the Callaway Chamber as they were ahead of us on trying to get grants out for small businesses to help and assist. So this is a statewide program, but we're really excited to kind of roll this out and talk through it and answer any questions. Jonathan, is there anything you want to add before I get started?
No, let's keep going. I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. So this program is the Small Business and Family-Owned Farm Grant Program. For the purposes today, I'm going to speak pretty much just on the small business piece. There is information on the slides regarding family-owned farms, so feel free to read that if you guys do have an interest in that, or the slides can be shared after this too. So the purpose of this grant is to help small businesses and family-owned farms for cost of business due to COVID-related closures. So that's going to be really important when filling out the grant applications, because what we're looking is COVID-related expenses. And really where this money is coming from is the CARES Act. So we were really, really fortunate that the legislators, our state legislators, put aside $30 million for this program, and specifically broke it up into a little bit, which I'll go into the next slide, goes into family and farms, and the rest are for small businesses. But with that, they also created a little bit of parameters on who can apply and who can't, which we'll go into a little bit. So go ahead and go next slide. So like I said, $30 million program, $7.5 million is set aside specifically for family-owned farms and family farm corporations. The great thing about that is we get to partner with the Missouri Department of Agriculture, and they're actually the ones who will be reviewing those applications and approving that. So if you guys have any specific questions regarding that, we'd be more than happy to refer you to our partners at the Missouri Department of Agriculture. For the rest of the money, that goes specifically to small businesses, and there's a couple criteria in order to qualify, but the Missouri Department of Economic Development will be reviewing those applications and approving those with, we have to get the goal of getting all of the expenses out the door by December 29th. So with this program, what we did is we did a lot of research and took a lot of data analysis into it. And what we focused on is what we're calling Missouri's hardest hit industries, which you see up there: retail, accommodation, food service, healthcare, and then of course the family-owned farms. So what we did is we set an application timeline where only those industries can apply first. So from now until August 31st, those specific industries can go ahead and apply. And if there's money available after August 31st, the other industries can apply. And we'll go into the next slide, and they'll talk a little bit about who can apply. So this is a small business grant. So we're looking for companies that have 50 or fewer employees. And again, that gets into the language of what the definition of a family-owned farm is and family farm corporation. But one of the parameters of the business is that it must be located and incorporated in Missouri. We've had a lot of questions regarding this. So that's something that the legislators specifically put in there with regards to how this program would work. And unfortunately, ineligible applicants or franchisees or chain businesses or any businesses engaged in illegal activity. So again, what we're looking for is 50 or fewer employees, and that they must be located and incorporated in Missouri. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. And this explains a little bit about the grant. So the maximum award is $50,000, and it's going to be reimbursed based on eligible costs incurred between March 1st and November 16th. One of my favorite things about this grant is it allows you to go back in time for costs that occurred really when COVID hit really hard, specifically in Missouri, so March 1st. But then you can also be really creative, and if you're like, hey, you know, I was wanting to put a new sanitation system in, or I was wanting to space out my restaurant, you can look ahead and get those costs approved before you even spend them. So you can put in an application and get those costs approved, go ahead and spend the money, submit the reimbursements, and then go ahead and get that money back to you for stuff related to COVID or prevention of COVID spread. So like I said, we're looking at the priority industries, and that's the first ones that we're currently reviewing. So again, that's retail, accommodation, food service, healthcare, and family-owned farms. And then all applications come on a first received, first award, first come basis. So I had a call yesterday from a company that said, hey, you know, I participated in the SBA and the EIDL program, and I submitted all of this reimbursable expenses, and then they tailored it down to what I could actually get. So what we're looking is we want everything that you submit, as long as it's reimbursable, you will get approved for up to $50,000 on that if we consider it an eligible expense. Now, the great thing about the program is if there's money still available after October 15th, and you ask for more than $50,000 on your application, we will go back and review and give more than the $50,000 minimum. So our goal is to be able to get this money out the door to those businesses that need it the most. So you kind of see that timeline there, right? So like I said, right now to August 31st is the applications for the hardest hit industry and family-owned farms. One more time, that's retail, accommodation, food service, healthcare, and of course the family-owned farms. After that, if funding is available, we'll accept for any other eligible industries. We did ask the governor's office when we put this request in that, you know, $30 million sounds like a lot of money, but across the state, it goes very quickly. And I can tell you as of yesterday morning, we've already had 903 applications submitted. I don't know where we are as far as funding on that, because we're currently reviewing those applications and making sure that all of the information is in there. But we did put a request into the governor's office that if we would go through that money before August 31st, that we could at least go back and ask for more money available depending on the situation to try to continue to help other businesses and other industries. So stay tuned on that if the money does go quickly. We've been honestly overwhelmed with the response thus far and with the applications that are being submitted, but I think that just shows that businesses really need the help and support. One thing I would encourage, like it says, like I talked about earlier, is that the awards are going to be first received, first award, first come basis. So the important thing there is that you need to have everything in your application done. So if we have a question or we're missing some documentation, we won't approve that application. And if money runs out while we're waiting for your response, even if you had it in before someone else, we need to make sure that application is fully complete whenever you submit it so that there's no issues with the timeline. And we'll go ahead and jump to the next slide. And this talks about the eligible expenses and ineligible expenses. So eligible expenses are costs associated with business interruption caused by related closures. So examples, unemployment insurance related to COVID-19 due to the public health emergency. You're going to hear that a lot, especially with CARES Act funding. With family on farms, costs to facilitate livestock depopulation. Examples of this: salaries paid in excess of normal hours, specific sanitation, facility redesign, leasing additional space for social distancing, air filtration systems, PPE, and one-time perishable inventory replacement, which I thought was a really flexible way for reimbursement, especially for restaurants there. So if you had to contract and hire an extra cleaning crew to come and do deep cleans of your business, that's an eligible expense. If you had to put up plastic plexiglass barriers, right, that's an eligible expense. I talked to a retail company that sells shoes, and they had to buy UV lights in order to sanitize for people trying on shoes. That's an eligible expense. So some ineligible expenses, something that's reimbursed by insurance, and then expenses reimbursed under any federal, state, or local government funding. So this is important for you guys because you guys do have a great chamber that was really innovative in their grants that they put forward and are continuing to put forward. So we don't want you to double dip. Essentially, that's it. If you submitted for a different grant, PPE, or the EIDL, you can't submit for those same expenses. Now, if you have different expenses due to COVID-related closures, you can submit for those. And then we'll go ahead and we'll jump to the next slide. And this talks about how to apply. So you're going to go to our website. You're going to follow the link to the program, which is right there. Please read the guidelines. What we first saw with most people submitting the first day is they weren't reading the guidelines, and a lot of companies were automatically ineligible, either due to size or they weren't incorporated in Missouri. So we don't want you to waste your time. Like, we want you to, if you're going to go through the process and submit the application, read the guidelines and make sure it's a good fit. Once you're on that screen, you're going to go to the how to apply section, and there's two emails that you're going to click. You're going to click an email box for the small business applicant or the family-owned farm. I have a feeling most of you guys are probably going to click for the small business applicant. It will then send you an email with a link. You will click that link, and it will automatically get you into DocuSign, where you will start the application. From there, you can save the application and come back to it at any time. We're tracking how many people have requested the application, how many are currently in the process, and then how many have officially submitted. So we're looking at all of that throughout this. And with that, we'll take any questions.
Justice, you're muted.
I realized. I'm going to let anybody who wants to write down this information do so for a minute, and then I'm going to click off of this to see if there's any messages in the chat. So if anybody wants to write that down.
And we can send that out to everybody here in just a little bit.
Yes. There were a couple questions that I know came in, but there might be one that did. Okay, so can nonprofits apply 501c3 or 501c6?
You do have to be registered as a business. So nonprofits won't qualify for this one. However, today at 3 o'clock, in a little more than 15 minutes, you guys are getting a little scoop here, the governor will be announcing a $22 million nonprofit grant that can be used in similar ways and for other nonprofit expenses. So we will be more than happy to share that information as soon as it goes live in about 45 minutes.
Another question was pertaining to the family-owned farms is, do you have to show a loss to be able to be eligible?
Specifically for the family-owned farm?
Yes.
Yep. So I'm going to have to check with the Department of Ag on that. From my understanding, no. Because really what we're looking for is COVID-related closure, COVID-related expense. Again, the Department of Ag is facilitating that, so we'll be more than happy to check with our colleagues and then email you guys and let you know, and you can send it out. Does that sound good?
Sure, absolutely. I don't appear to have any additional, I'm sorry. Oh, I did get one. Food category, can it be food, beverage, i.e. a winery?
Yes. Yep, that is an industry that can go ahead and apply right now. And I think there was one more question that came in beforehand, and it was needing help with Missouri buys, because that is a requirement in order to get reimbursed, and then filling out the tax clearance form 943. So Jonathan and I will be more than happy if that person wants to just identify themselves. Justice, to you, that's fine too, and we can reach out to them one-on-one and give them the specific directions for Missouri buys based off the website, but we can walk them through the tax clearance form 943. It's very simple. We do it with businesses all the time, so I'm more than happy to help.
Great. I was looking for that one, so I'm glad you did that. I was like trying to find it in my email.
Yeah.
Another question that came in is, how do I contact? Are you contacting either Michelle or, oh, it's a kitty.
Sorry.
No, I get distracted by the kitties. Are you asking how to contact Michelle or Jonathan? If so, can you repeat your contact information for them just in case?
Yeah, it's on the slide, so we can more than happy to share that. Is that what you're asking? My contact information?
I think so. It says, how do I contact? So I'm.
Yep. So you can be more than happy. You can email me at Michelle, Michelle, .Hattaway, HAT as in Tom, AWAY, @ded.mo.gov, or I'll give you my cell phone, 573-694-7158. And with that, I'll give you Jonathan's cell phone too, because I don't want him to feel left out. 573-619-5318. But again, more than happy to share our contact information after this. If you guys need anything, please reach out.
And I will make sure that this recording is also for those of you who are watching or not watching, want to share this with somebody. I will make sure that this information is posted on our website so you can pull this up as well. Another question that did come in was, what if someone can't get their ID number to log in?
Their ID number to log into the DocuSign?
I'm going to say that yes.
They might have to contact us one-off, because we might have to, I've not heard of that being an issue, but we'll be more than happy to look into it. Especially if it's one-off, have them email or call us, and then we can troubleshoot it together.
Yeah.
And yes, it was for the DocuSign. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that is the last one that I have had come in so far. So unless anybody else has any other questions, Tamara, I don't know if you want to wrap it up.
Yes, absolutely. Jonathan and Michelle, we really appreciate you all supporting Callaway County. The things that you all do for us from the Missouri Department of Economic Development, we truly appreciate your support and willingness to do this for us today, and for our chamber members and our businesses in the community, helping to maneuver through this application process. I know we've had lots of questions how to apply for this, what they should put as their specific business, just so that they can get in and start filling out this application. And we just appreciate you so much. So if we don't have any other questions, we're going to wrap this up. Justice will share this information on our social media, this recording, so that we can get this information out to other businesses and farmers so that they can begin applying if they haven't already applied. And we appreciate you, and we will be in touch if we need some further assistance.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you guys too.
Okay, have a good day, everyone.
You will.